Welcome back to Faith and Fire. On today's episode, we're going to talk about spiritual awakenings and how those show up in our lives. So if you were around for the episode where we talked about faith in the spiritual realm, we dove into a conversation about the realm that's all around us at all times. And it got me thinking, I want to know more about the spiritual realm, more about how it shows up. And I started diving into conversations about crystals and spiritual energy. And as I had that conversation, I ended up talking to Barbara, and Barbara talked to me a little bit about her spiritual awakening and how she learned more about this world. So I got a few friends together and we're going to talk about that. We're going to explore, what does a spiritual awakening look like? What is this spiritual energy concept? And I got all the questions. Y'all know me. So we're going to dive into the conversation. Sitting with me today, we have Barbara, we have Rel, and we have Asia. Now, y'all remember Asia. We were talking in faith and relationships, faith and business. So we've had some good conversations around this table, and this will be one of them. So let's dive on in. So spiritual awakening. I love that. Okay. So I'll let you kick it off. Tell me a little bit. We talked a little bit about your spiritual awakening and what that looked like. Tell me a little bit about what that was like for you.
Uncomfortable.
Okay.
A lot of people, I've heard people say, "Oh, I had this amazing, beautiful spiritual awakening." Lies. And no disrespect to anybody, if they want to believe that that's what it was, then that's what they're going to believe, right? Mine was the most uncomfortable part. And I want to say of my life, but there were other, parts. But within that, my circle got very, very small.
Okay.
It's basically a progressive thing where these rose-colored glasses that I believe we all wear in the world, right? Where we make excuses for people. We're like, hey, this person's going to be late. Oh, it's okay. Once you take those glasses off, and actually, let me rephrase that. Once the glasses are removed,
Knocked off, just slap right off your face.
because when it's time for you to really understand what your purpose is, you don't have a choice. Everything is divine timing. And again, I tell people nothing happens by coincidence, right? Everything happens for a reason. And the thing is that when you take those glasses off or get them knocked off, you start seeing people and everybody for who they truly are.
Okay.
And it's not good, bad, or indifferent, but you start understanding them from a completely different way, from a completely different perspective, from a completely different realm.
Yeah.
Right? You're not even in the 5D anymore. Like, you're in the 3D.
So
Well,
we
3D,
started
5D.
in 5D. And
Yeah.
okay.
So you're on a different vibration. You're on a different level. And what it is, when I'm gonna let me go back just a little bit. When I was younger, I would always be talking to people, and I would be able to tell them what their closets look like. Don't even know anything about them.
Wait. Like their physical closets or like their metaphorical closets, like you got skeletons in your
Physical
closet?
closets.
Okay.
I would meet somebody and I could feel their energy. I would meet somebody and I could tell you things about them that they had never told me before. But I used to always just like, okay, this is crazy. Like, there's no way. And people would always be like, oh my God, how do you know that about me? And I'm like, I don't know. Then years passed, and I would wake up at crazy hours in the morning, and I would start texting people, and I would just be like, just texting, and I'd press send, and the next morning, oh my God, I can't believe you sent that. I needed to hear that, blah, blah, blah. And, I called mom, and I called my mom, and I was like, okay, I need you to explain some things to me, because she's a pastor. And I'm like, I need you to explain some things to me. And she's like, oh, well, you're a messenger. And it was very basic what she said. So I still was like, well, I don't like it, because I'm waking up. I'm getting woken up and my sleep is no. So I don't like it. However, during COVID, I was by myself, and I was trying to understand why I was so fearful of leaving my home. I had to get a lot better understanding myself. And that's where I say it was to the point that I would physically get sick if I would leave my home. I would physically get sick if I was around a ton of people. And I got extremely sick because I got COVID pneumonia. But at that time, I wasn't realizing I was going through the awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't just go through one. You continuously keep going. Because the thing is, you might have more than one gift.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's to the point where I'll meet somebody and I'll just feel in my spirit certain things about that person, certain energy. I can't be in a large group because it just drains me.
Yeah.
I am now understanding what my gifts are.
Okay. So you said the messenger gift.
Mm-hmm.
What is the gift about the closets? Like, what is it? Just like, you just know do you know what that's called?
You know what? I'm still learning what they're actually called.
Yeah.
Quote unquote called.
What do you call it?
Just gifts, just blessings.
Okay.
I used to always, one thing I have to always work on is I always say, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but I know this about you, or, hey, is this true? Or, I see this person, perfect example, not this past New Year, but the New Year before.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up, it was 5:00 in the morning, and I had talked to one of my girlfriends, like a couple of days before. And I was just like, something tells me like I need to text this person, this person, that, which I did. And then I was like, okay, I need to call this person. Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she wasn't able to really talk. And I was like, okay, not a problem. And I just sort of just left it alone. I'm like, okay, it wasn't meant to be. Next thing I know, she does my hair. So I'm like, I got to get my hair done really quick before New Year's, blah, blah, blah. So we met up, and I can't remember half the stuff I told her. All I know is she was in complete tears. I do know that I told her I could see who was helping her keep her strength through a lot of her, I was literally showing her and seeing like a smoke-filled room and who was protecting her and what angels were saying. And like, I'm able to see certain things about certain people. And I realize that it's not crazy.
Yeah.
I realize that I am simply a messenger, that I am a light, and I don't have anything to be ashamed of, because there was a point that, and I don't know, for anybody that's listening, if they have ever been to the point that they feel ashamed, if they've ever gone through something like this, because it's nothing but a blessing. The fact that when I went through what I went through and continuously keep going through it, but it's at different levels. Every person that I need in my life is coming into my life. Every single thing that I need is there. I am able to manifest things so quickly and believe in them and know that this is what's supposed to happen and know the direction that I'm supposed to go. When I went back to school, Jessica, you know this, I wanted to be an attorney, right? And everything was opening doors for me to be an attorney, and I knew I had to use my voice, right? And now I see why. It wasn't meant for me to be an attorney, because my son at the time, I was like, I couldn't leave so it was a choice. But it wasn't meant for me to be an attorney. I always thought I needed to be the voice of so many people, and this is what was supposed to happen. So progressively, and I say the angels, God, and the universe, they get you ready to where you're able to understand, even when you're not able to understand, where you're able to embrace it and you see it with so much gratitude. Something I told you, it's like I think about it and all the things that I've ever went through, I'm just grateful.
That's so beautiful. And Oh, I relate so much to what you're saying. And it's so cool to hear about your gifts. I don't know that we've talked about your gifts before. And I can relate to like the messenger gift, and I get the messages sometimes and they come on stronger as I get older. And I totally get what you mean, because it's weird and you feel like you're crazy, especially when you send it and like nobody says anything. You just have to, like you said, go let it go and go back to sleep. I've been sending them late. Like I'll get the message and then I'm like, I'm not sending that. And sometimes, especially because sometimes it happens with people that you feel close with or you have a different relationship with, and you're like, they're going to think that it's about me. Or they're going to add a different meaning to it, and you make it about you and you don't deliver the message. And so sometimes sometimes it gets so strong that you finally like, here, I don't know what this is. I'm sorry. I just take this and hopefully it means something to you. But I think when you explain it away or when you do things like that, it loses its meaning.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting that you say that, because I used to do the same exact thing. And remember I said how certain people will come into your life?
Yeah.
Somebody came into my life, and it was for a very short period of time, for a speck of time. And they were like, do you realize that you might be stopping somebody else's next step of their journey? You're the messenger.
That's deep.
You're the messenger, and you're the one that they're going to listen to. It's not your responsibility to don't worry about how they're going to take it.
Yeah.
That's not your journey. It's not your responsibility. Your responsibility in all of that as a messenger is to just give the message.
See, I know that in my head, but then in reality, all of the vulnerability emotions you have with other people come into play in those conversations, right? And all of a sudden it becomes about, you have to be super intentional whenever you're using your gifts and like that God has given you. You have to be super intentional about not getting in the way of them. And not putting yourself out there, just like a minister who's getting ready to preach. They have to be super intentional about get me out of the way so that people can hear what they need to hear. And so that's kind of, yeah. No,
Well, I don't want to take this over, so I do want to hear what the others have to say. However, I have a comment on what you just said on that.
Comment?
So, do you guys mind?
No,
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, when you're talking about getting out of your own way, when you're going through that spiritual awakening, like the main one, and those glasses come off, you start realizing none of it's about you.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're not worried. You literally get to the point you are no longer worried about how this person is going to feel. You get to the point you don't even, I was not allowed, and hear me when I say allowed, and I mean by my angels, by the universe, and my God.
Yeah.
I could not look at the messages that I sent. And the really interesting part was when I first started sending them, and I really wanted to look at them, they disappeared.
Get out of here. How so?
But that makes sense, though, because the message isn't for you. It's for the person you're sending it to.
And now, like the message that I was sending, for the New Year's before, I'm just texting. I would send. I wouldn't even have to look at it. I would be like, you know what? I know that this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I would be okay with that. And the thing is that when I say spiritual waking is not a comfortable thing, you really start understanding yourself. You start becoming super grounded. Things that used to irritate you fall off your back, and you're like, you know what? I'm not even worried about it. You too, you boo-boo.
So what if I know it's not for me, but I'm a little nosy? Like I want to know, like, what did it give you? What did it do? What did it do? Did it just did it change your life? Did you just change your life and I just helped you? Like what happened?
So actually you are, that's funny that you say that because a lot of times I will talk to my angels. And I'm just like, hey, if it's meant for me to know, then it's meant for me to know. Because the thing is, it's I'll tell somebody something, right? And just out of the blue, I'll just be like, so, this or do this or this is what's going to happen. And they're just like, huh. And they'll come back and be like, oh my gosh, you were absolutely right. That really did happen. And I'm like, really? It did? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That did not help the situation.
Yes. Oh, so what I'm hearing is it's like spiritual adulting. Like I have to be mature about this. And
Yes.
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 I don't like your answer. Let's continue. Let's hear about some other people's
Spiritual adulting.
Spiritual adulting.
I like that.
Maturity. It is
that.
a spiritual maturity.
You gotta
it is.
do the work.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, that's the reason why spiritual awakenings happens at so many different times for people.
Yeah.
Because if you're not ready for it, like where I was in my life on so many different areas, when I thought I was at my worst, and I was just like, okay, seriously, I wasn't talking to my angels. I didn't truly believe in certain things. So if it would have came at any other time, I would have misused it. I wouldn't have done what I needed to. I wouldn't have been obedient. None of that would have happened. And now that I know what I'm doing, or now that I know what I'm starting to do and what I'm supposed to do and starting to really try to figure out my purpose, things are literally just becoming in alignment.
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
Okay. So
I like that. So you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
that part.
There
I like
you go.
it.
There it is.
So Rel, what are your, do you know your gifts? Does this story resonate with you? Like
It actually does. And it's funny because listening to your story, it made me think a little bit about mine. So when I moved from Chicago to come here to Arizona in 2019, it was a moment of reflection for myself, of finding out like what's my purpose. I knew who I was in Illinois. I know all the things that I've accomplished, but it was more so, what is my invisible identity here? And when I talk about invisible identity, I talk about like, I know I'm a father. And at the time I knew I was a husband, but who am I? Who am I more than that? And then I got into more in the sense of fitness. Then I got more in the sense of going deeper with meditation and got more deeper with yoga, got more in tune with the life and universe. So a friend introduced me to aura readings. I got into more in cards and I got more into crystals. And when I went to my first session, it was out in Sedona. The person actually read my card and read my results. And then she paused for a second and then she cried. And I was like, wait, what's happening? She was like, I want you to look at the colors that you see on your aura reading. I was like, all right, I'm gonna need you to break this down because this is the first time that I've seen this. And she said, most colors that you see, you would see a lot of, red and yellow, and you can see like the different vibrations and things that's happening, but your colors doesn't show that. Yours has purple and white, or more purple, but you have an angel that's watching over you, and your angel is Raphael. And I laughed, and I was like, why did you say that? And she's like, I need you to know like how personal you are. I'm like, no, but why did you say that name specifically?
Yeah.
Because one thing about me is people that know me knows that I love art, and people knows that I love art knows that I relate to one particular animation cartoon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the color, the turtle was Raphael. Everything that I did growing up resonated around Raphael. So when she said that name to me, it hit hard to me. But I wanted to understand a little bit more around these colors. And she started to break it down around the purple and the white. She said, you've been through a lot in your journey. But the great thing about it, you're not done yet. You're just getting there. And the people that you connect with, the people you see, they will see you as a bridge, and you would do so much for them in life. You don't even know how much of an impact you do to them, each and every person. And it can be years from now, and you still may get a call from them. So I'm crying now because of the things that you've done in this universe, and I'm proud of you, young Black man. They're like, oh, wait, what? You don't even know me. But the person that I came with started being in tears too, because she was like, you don't know what you already did in my life, Rel. And that's why I wanted to bring you here so you can see how your life is truly impacted and truly being rewarding.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I got questions. So
I got answers.
were these like, you could physically see the colors, like, and the vibrations?
Yes.
Everybody's nodding. I'm the only one who don't know this.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Like what they look like little waves?
You've probably seen it and just don't know you've seen it.
Probably.
Yeah.
You have auras around you right now.
What they doing?
No, I'm saying you have auras you have colors around you.
What color? Is it orange? Is it pink and green? So, okay, this is so interesting because this is not something that I think that's why I wanted to have the conversation. This is not something that I know about. Okay, so you saw the colors. The colors were normal to you. The vibrations were normal to you. Just seeing colors and vibrations in the air is normal to you. Okay, got it. So it's interesting. I feel like a lot of interesting things happen in Sedona. They say that, like, Sedona has like a very strong spiritual energy, and there's like a center of gravity. I don't know, but that's really cool because I went to a trip to Sedona and I was trying to get massages because we were at a massage place. Yeah. And I accidentally signed up for something called Touching Essence. And I signed up for somebody else because I was like, they only have one slot left because I booked late and all they're going to touch your essence. Here's your massage treatment. And so they came back in the room and I was like, how was your treatment? And they said, they didn't touch me. And I said, what? I'd paid for them to touch your essence. And they said, no, we talked to all of my generations of like whoever. And they were like, I talked to my great-great-great-grandfather. And I was like, did they touch you while they did it? And there was no touching. But it's like, like that's the kind of stuff that you could tap into there, which is really cool. And I'm sure you could do that other places as well. But I guess for me, it has this brand of just that place where you could dive deeper, where you could see your colors and you could see your vibrations and aura and all that jazz. Yeah. That's so cool. I don't know that I knew that. See, I'm learning all kinds of things about the people sitting at this table. So what do you do with that? Like after that session, where do you go with that?
So for me, it was kind of like everyone else is just really tapping into that. One thing that I used to tell myself so my upbringing is always been kind of going through life, and I made the switch instantly. So after that happened, and of course when COVID happened, one thing that I just took a step back is just realize how life works. It's not really just going through life, but growing through life. We all have things that we go through in life, but again, it's looking at what you bring to the table, utilizing your superpowers for the things that it's really meant to be, and stop trying to go against the grain or trying to fight who you are. And that's one of the things that I slowly but surely discovered. So each and everything that I put my effort into is really aligning with how the universe truly needs me to be.
A bridge. It's beautiful. Okay.
So much to say to you. So much to say.
I mean, you don't have to hold it inside. Let it out.
No, because I really want to hear.
Give us a spree.
Well, first I gotta say, you said Ninja Turtles. Huge fan. I like Michelangelo. I'm just telling you, I love all things Ninja Turtles. All things.
I grew up with boys, so I didn't play with Barbies. I played with Ninja Turtles.
Me too. I had a Barbie dollhouse, but I had the Ninja Turtles in there. And my dad, like, when he deployed, he came back.
Raphael loves his pink bed.
Yeah, I'm serious. My dad used to call me the son he never had. And I don't know if that was good or bad because I have a brother. But, I mean, it was crazy. But I was, like, more of, like, I was just a complete tomboy.
You just slid that in.
I know. I love my brother. I love my brother. But yeah, so my story, I guess, is a little different. I'm still going through my journey. But I will say that my awakening started when I was very young.
Ooh.
So I remember, and she's looking at me. I feel like you could feel it.
She's reading you. She knows what's in your closet. She can feel it.
But my mom, they always just say I had a wise soul. I just grew up and I was just different, right? Yeah. And I wasn't like the kid. Like I did kid stuff, but I was more like observing, right? Listening and watching and always protecting. Okay. Like at a very young age. But it was because of what I was hearing.
What were you hearing?
Does that make sense? I know it's going to sound, we always, like you said, it's going to sound crazy, but no. So I always felt like there was somebody guiding me and helping me the whole time. Yeah. And when I would dream, like I would see them, but I didn't know like who it was.
Okay.
Right. And so as time went on in life, like it just kept happening and I would kind of piece it. It was somebody that was old and in all white. And so I thought that maybe it was my dad's grandma. That's who I used to think it was. And then just my background, my grandma on my dad's side, she's Native American. And I just thought maybe it was just like somebody from, I don't know. I was just so confused. Right. And so as time went on, I joined the military. I was at Barksdale Air Force Base, I was close to the bayou.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know a lot about Louisiana and a lot about some of the stuff, that they believe down there. And I went to a festival, a Creole festival, and this lady came up to me. Y'all, it was so strange at the time. She stopped me and she said, "You." She said, "You have a light, but there's somebody that's going to come your way." And she told me what they look like. She told me to stay away.
Was it him?
It was him.
Oh.
It was him. I didn't stay away. I didn't listen. But she told me, she said, if you don't, you're going to remember this.
You had a warning?
I had a whole warning. It was crazy. And when I look at my whole life, I had warnings several times about several different things. And the lady that came to me that day looked exactly like the lady in my dreams.
Get out of here.
Wow.
That's amazing.
One of my friends, we were there, and I was so taken back because I was confused a little bit because I'm like, is this of God or is this not? What is this? I didn't know what was happening, right? And then I realized
you realize
I had to trust myself, right? Yeah. And it was okay to listen to what was being said. It wasn't guiding me wrong. It wasn't steering me wrong. Actually, it was helping me.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it's kept coming out in different areas in my life. As I've gotten older, all my friends say to me, listen to Asia. They always say that, listen to Asia. She knows. If I say, because I can feel, like you said, I can feel when somebody is just not genuine. But my problem is that I stay around longer than I should, thinking that my presence and what I have, and if I pray for them, that things are going to change.
That you'll help them, yeah.
That I help them. That they'll feel what I'm putting out. But sometimes that can drain me. Majority of the time, it will. All of the time it has. So this year, well, probably the middle of last year, I decided, hey, look, I'm going to listen. Because if I don't, I'm going to destroy myself.
Ooh, that's deep.
I'm going to destroy myself.
Yeah.
There's been times I have a prayer closet in my house, and it's funny because when people come, it's in my room.
What does it look like, Barbara?
There's so much I want to say to her right now, too. Oh, my goodness.
When I started going through everything and I got into my crystals and just, my candles and doing all that and praying and meditating and just hearing what I needed to hear. I wish I would have done this sooner because my heart would not have broken into millions of pieces like it had.
But look where you are.
Yeah. And I sometimes I think that I'm just a vessel for those who can't go through some of the things that I've been through, so I can tell them what not to do now. I get emotional talking about it because some people don't really understand it, but it is a beautiful thing in the end. So I'm blessed to have been chosen to go through things and to hear things and to be able to relate things to people who will listen.
Yeah.
But like everybody here said, it's kind of hard because some people look at you like,
Yes.
And some people, we can look at each other and we know.
Like, you and you just come out of nowhere and you tell somebody a message you got for them. Like, like sometimes like you're going to think I'm crazy and I still have to tell you this. And one day I'm a spiritually adult like Barbara, and I'm not going to preface it with like that. I'm not there yet. I'm not adulting yet spiritually.
I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with.
I'm still trying to adult.
Hold on.
Spiritual.
We go eeny, meeny, miny, moe it. Go. Which one?
Eeny, meeny, miny,
It's real.
Okay.
I feel like you just wanted that one, but
okay.
Go for it.
Question: did she say anything about your throat chakra?
She
because
did.
your throat chakra is needed to be protected, and that's what's always been protected.
Yeah.
Because you also are a voice, and that is going to be. It's not going to be. I'm not saying that fitness is not it.
Yeah.
But giving your voice is what is going to be your complete strength, and it needs to be protected by all means. It's been protected. It continues to be protected, and you know who it's protected by. You need to let that individual in so that they can, and they have their own little army, right? They need to be able to lead you. They can only do so much, but they need to be able to lead you. And I'm going to need you to listen, right? Because the thing is, you listen when you want to. And then you're like, that just doesn't, yeah, but I'm on the right direction. But I did this, but I need you to learn how to differentiate between who's really talking to you.
It's funny you say that because I do recall that. And I remember a conversation I had with you, Jessica. It was talking about my place in the world. And I say, and I'm going to use isms in a sense. One thing that I utilize myself as is being that of a beacon. And being the beacon is you're either going to see yourself as a candle or you're going to see yourself as a lighthouse. And in the sense of being that of a candle, you're only going to focus on yourself. But being a beacon, you're going to be a lighthouse. But like to what you said, Asia, you want to be mindful of that because eventually being a beacon for so long, your batteries burn out. Mm-hmm. And then eventually you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals to recharge yourself. So that's why I too remember that. And I'm always polishing myself and I'm always strengthening myself and is being mindful of the people that I am in and around. And one of the unique things that I have is the opportunity of now acceptance, giving the power of accepting and being able to let things go and not holding on to those things that break you, that damage you, and that's no good for you.
Wow. She saw all up in your closet. I love it.
So yes, you're on the right path. You've always been a candle and it's always been protected with the hands going just like this, where it would flicker this way and it would flicker this way. And there's been a couple of times that it's been put out.
Oh, yeah.
And the hands that have always been, and I mean, I literally see the hands covering, and it's a man. I don't know who it is, but they're covering it. And they're like, no, nope, y'all not gonna, oh my gosh, he's letting it light out again. Oh my goodness. Okay, this boy. Okay, how are we gonna, okay, y'all gonna have to help me out a little bit. And he calls on the angels and they're like, there's only so much that we can do because he's not listening to us. So we're gonna have to try to send somebody else to try to get him to open up and understand that we're all here.
Yeah.
You are meant to be a lighthouse. You're actually meant to be even more than that.
Ooh.
You are meant to shine to the highest to...
Tell me more.
And I'm going to say the same thing for you. Both of you guys are complete lights. The thing is that when you say you went through, again, spiritual awakening is consistent, right?
Yeah.
Things can start when we're younger and you know that you've been a chosen one. Let's just put that out there, okay? We gone through trials and tribulations. We used to, why me? Why this? Why that? Why? Because you were chosen. Why? Because you are going to be the voice that's going to guide people that nobody else can get to. Why? Because you know things and are told things about people that you're not going to use against them, that you're only going to make them stronger. You are going to only want people's light to grow like larger and more grand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where when you see somebody that doesn't have the light and you know that they're a light, you're going to know exactly what you need to say to them.
Yep.
With no questions, no comments. The thing is, and I'm saying this to myself as well, you've got to, I would ask that you stop thinking that it's crazy, because the individuals that you are meant to touch, I promise you, are going to come into your life and they're going to be there. You're going to take off the rose-colored glasses on that one spiritual journey, That's both. It's coming up for both of y'all. If y'all would just let the doors open instead of stop closing them because you're scared.
Hmm.
You guys are both destined to be voices in this world. You guys are both lights that are ready to help so many others. And those people are waiting for you. And you've been through what you've been through because those are specific people that you are going to be led to. Nobody else can give that message but you.
Wow. Okay, Asia, she didn't know, but she just told you to write that book.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. I just have to
Stop being scared.
Yeah. That's one thing, I battle with. And I mean, if we put it all out there, that's one thing is fear. And when I look at my journey as a whole, I ask myself, like, when did that start? Like when, right? I remember a time where I felt like I was fearless. But the older I got, I became fearful. And I think it's because when you look at all the stuff that's put on us, all the limitations and how people just judge. I literally got into it with my mom today about being judgy. I don't like it, right? All that comes, and it's like you just boxed in. And I've said that a million times. I feel boxed in. I just can't be, confined.
Yeah.
So I can't wait until those glasses come off for you. You are not going to care about what somebody says to you, about being judgy. It's going to go in one ear and right out the other because you know it has nothing to do with you. Whatever needs to be said will be said, but you are fearless. It's just the fact that, unfortunately, more than not, you've allowed people in your life that are trying to dim you because they see your light and they're jealous of it. And you're allowing it. I need you to not allow it. And it's easier said than done, but I promise you, when you take, well, I can't even say when you take them, they're going to come off. And honestly, you are going to be that voice. And the fact that it's already been done, which means you've already been guided. You know what you're supposed to do. You and I both know what you're supposed to be doing. The thing is, if anybody judges you, don't worry about that. That's not even, you are going to do everything in your power to protect your peace at any cost. You talk about Malcolm X, by any means necessary. When I say your circle gets so small, you love people, I love you. But if they bring any type of drama, any type of mess, anything negative, you know what? You have a great day. You have a great day. And it's not, I don't love you, I don't care about you. And you'll know what you need to say. And it's not going to be oh, but I feel so bad. Oh my gosh, they're going to be mad at me. Okay, they're going to be mad at me. But you know what? At the end of the day, my angels are going to show you exactly why I did what I needed to do. Because it's not going to be about anybody else. You're going to start being selfish. And that's something that you don't know how to do.
I love all of this for you.
And you, so much to say. I'm just saying, you are supposed to be that voice. It's just, there's certain steps that you're taking that for some odd reason, you stop. Like you'll say, okay, I want to learn this. Okay, but I want to learn this. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Follow through with all of it. Follow through with all of it. I'm not saying that you're not a man of integrity and you don't keep your word.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm saying the stuff that you are led to do and who you are led to be, you are not following through.
That's interesting. Solely because that's one of the things that drives me. It's always making sure that I stay committed to what I do and follow through on a lot. But the interesting thing is, it's tackling on the things that wasn't on my plate, that wasn't there, now putting on my plate. So
Why? So
And-
you don't have to deal with all the other stuff?
No,
You mean deal with the stuff for you?
no, that's the thing.
For you?
Because like my size, I'm hungry. So I'm actually taking on more because I want more, only because I know I'm destined for more. So if anything, it's not me hiding, it's actually me opening up to it because I enabled others to hold me back when actually it was just me holding me back previously. Hence the reason why 2023 was more so my awakening of allowing in, tapping in more into myself. So if anything, this conversation you're giving me now, I feel like you gave it to me last year because now I'm hitting the force running in everything that I do.
That's who I know you to be right now is unstoppable.
Yeah.
You are hitting the fort, but you continue to keep forgetting about self.
I like that.
You always hit the ground running for everybody else.
There you
You're
go.
always worried about everybody. What's this person? Is that person okay? Is that person all right? Oh, okay. Well, I put this program together for this person.
Yeah.
I did this for this person. I did that for this person. That's not bringing you the greatness that you're supposed to be. You have to work on yourself and make sure your stuff is the way it needs to be. Open up your doors for your angels to come in to do what they need to do because you are so much greater than you could even imagine because you haven't even gone down that road yet.
The great thing about that is the road now is kind of going through the self-reflection. And one of the things is as leaders of what you're seen to be, you want to be selfless. But one thing that I started practicing now is being selfish because you have to be selfish for your own need. You think about an airplane. Well, hey, you want to make sure everyone's okay. But the first thing they tell you, you got to put that mask on yourself.
Yes.
And if you don't put that mask on yourself, what's going to happen? You pass out. You won't know what's happening to the next person next to you because you didn't do what you were supposed to do and look out for yourself.
Yes.
But yeah, I get it.
And the really interesting part is I used to think that was the worst thing. I was like, oh my gosh, how could they possibly say that you got to help? What? You got to do for yourself? What? Because that's who we are as people.
Yeah.
Right? When you go through that, you protect your peace at all costs because you truly know what you are supposed to be to other people.
And you say we're like that as people, and we at this table are, but let's be clear, not everyone's like that. Some people love to be vampires, and if you give in, they take it.
Yes.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
what I mean by like you deal with a lot of people. And they suck the life out of you.
You could be on that airplane. Not only are they trying to put my mask on before you put your mask on, but they're also like, and can I breathe your air a little bit too?
Yes. And that's where I'm saying, like, when you become selfish, you start understanding what guardrails and your boundaries.
Your boundaries.
Because you start protecting
my favorite word again.
You start protecting your energy.
Yeah.
You need to understand what your boundaries are. And I need you to make sure that you are very clear. I'm not pressed if they are family. I'm going to say that again. I'm not pressed if they are family or friends or just acquaintances. Whoever they are, you can love them from a distance.
She all up in your closet.
She's right. I'm going to tell you, boundaries is one of my favorite words too. And we just talked about this, boundaries. You have to give people boundaries. And during my 41 years of life, I will tell you, I didn't always do that, right? I was married and I went through a lot in that situation and I forgot about me and I definitely didn't have any boundaries then. And having no boundaries then and then thinking, hey, this is what a relationship is supposed to be like, it just kept traveling, right? But I will tell you one thing, during that, because I will call that probably one of my lowest points in life, started in 2017, and went all the way up until I would say maybe 2021-ish, right? Was not having those boundaries. But during that time, I saw God in a whole nother way.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And so people talk about when you're at your lowest, you find God, the things that I had no clue about, I found. I knew I didn't have patience, but all of a sudden I found them.
Yep.
I knew somebody was watching over me. There were times I would literally sit and be like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And it would be done. And so one day I literally sat there and I said, okay, I hear you. And that's the day I decided I was going to retire from the military.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because my cousins, everybody would look at me and say, you know, you ain't supposed to be doing this. That's not, you're this, you're that, you're autistic, you're this. Why don't you do something else? And I'm like, but it pays my bills, right? Just to use that as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I did it, that was probably one of the first times in a long time I was fearless, right? But I had gotten to a point where I had to make a decision, right? Well, I didn't have to make a decision, but I had to make a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to choose peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I chose it.
Yes.
Just like when I got divorced, I had to figure it out. I had to choose peace.
Yes.
And it hurt. It hurt like hell, excuse me.
Yes.
But I chose peace.
Yes.
And I would do it again.
Yes.
So, okay. I could talk about this all day. But as we bring this conversation to a close, what words of advice do you have for someone who's listening, who's on the precipice of their spiritual awakening, or maybe they don't know, maybe they're just oblivious going through life? What words of advice do you have for them?
It's okay to be you.
Mm.
You are, this is one of the terms I love is you are perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
I almost wore that shirt today.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. You know, there were so many times that I look back, times that I shouldn't be here because somebody saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Car accidents, major car accidents that I've been in. And I haven't been in a lot, but they were both like major. And it's, you know, you want to ask, why am I the chosen one? Why do I have to go through this? But then you realize how much you are helping so many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how much like you just want to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you got to protect yourself. That's one thing I would tell anybody that even feels that we all have an intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us have a lot more than others. Some of us have gifts, plural, and some of us have a gift, right? Protect it. Protect it at all cost because you are one of the lights that were put on this earth to, in the time of any type of darkness, confusion, anything of the devil. You're the light that will overcome all of it because you're going to be the one that is the messenger to say exactly what needs to be said to that person that's going to get them going one day at a time and wanting to wake up the next day. And you won't even realize the impact that you make on a person. You'll just start listening.
Yep.
Let me give this person $5 and just say thank you for being a light. And they just start crying and you're like, it's $5. But it's not even that, it's the intention.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that they needed somebody and you were that chosen one. Do you know how powerful that is?
Yeah.
Like just be yourself.
Wow. On that note, thank you. Thank you for being the light that you are. And I'm not just saying that because you just gave the example of the $5. I don't even have a 5 right now. I got some ones. But I appreciate you and who you are and how you even showed up in this conversation. I had no idea that this conversation was going to be this conversation.
And you want to know something? I'm not going to remember more than
It's on recording, so I got you.
Doesn't matter.
This.
Yeah. Yeah. There are going to be clips. It's going to be all over the internet. Everyone going to know what you said.
And that's why I'm just saying for myself.
So, yeah.
Like the things I said to you, I can't tell you anything I said to either of you.
That's beautiful. But we get to be nosy and we get to ask them later what happened. I'm going to ask. I'm not adulting yet.
She can do that.
I'm going to do it.
I can't do that.
Well, thank you all for joining. I appreciate you for
Truly
being
a
at this
pleasure.
table.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you joining in on the conversation. Be sure to tell us how this resonates with you. And we'd love to hear about your spiritual awakening and how this is showing up in your life. If you enjoyed hanging out with us today and having this conversation, be sure to come back for more conversations. Like, follow, subscribe so that you can hear more on Faith and Fire. See you next time.